So, good evening, everyone. I'm pleased to do this webinar. I'm not quite a person who do that often, so I hope I will do the job good enough for you to have some meaning and some understanding of some of what I found essential in the body work, in the knowledge of treatment and healing. After so many years of practice, I am more and more considering that as bioenergetic therapists, we are not the major therapist, we are assisting the therapist, which is our body, the life in our body, that has wisdom, that has intelligence and inner power, and that's the healing of emotional suffering from all kind. We know today that the humanistic psychotherapy have this essential belief that emotion are at the origin of most of suffering, and they are at the heart of psychotherapeutic process. So, to help me, I have make a PowerPoint. As you hear, English is not my native language. I'm French-speaking Belgian person, and I live in Brussels. And so I do my best. I will share my screen. That's it. So I don't see it right well myself. I don't know what's happening. I hope you see it well. I cannot see it.
Deve metterla in presentazione.
I'm sorry, I have a little problem. I don't see my PowerPoint, but I'll try again.
Ok, è molto zoomata, però ecco, magari da lì.
Ah, that's it. Okay, sorry. I have it.
Okay.
Oof. Technical issue sometimes are. So I just wanted to say that if I choose about the theme of catharsis, it's because I have a personal experience about that since a long time. So when I was in psychology, a student in psychology, I was 22 years, I guess. I went into a very traumatic moment in my life. I was very bad. I was thinking even to finish my life. And I went to therapy. It was in 74 or 5 at the time of the new therapy, humanistic therapy, and I had an intuition to go to bioenergetic therapy. It needed a long time for me to get out from my armoring that was very strong, and through very, like we say today, traditional body work that helps to some cathartic issue. I went through the tunnel and I saw the light after a strong emotional cathartic experience. And that was the time where, as Louis said, when we say intensive, it was very intensive, but it was for me very, very adequate, even if not easy at the beginning to get there. And even when I was there, need a long time to, of course, go through many of my personal issue. And also, I was trained in bioenergetic between 77 and 82. So it was the time where there was this traditional way going through the armoring and finding a way to free emotion and express emotion mainly. And so that was also my experience as a trainer at the beginning. And as Louise mentioned, during my long journey of being a therapist and being a trainer, of course, I developed, as many others, a new way to develop bioenergetic, including more the attachment and traumatic knowledge and techniques, so to speak. Okay. So for me, emotion and cathartic experience are the healing power. And this has been my own experience when I was in therapy. So why use this word catharsis? At the beginning, at the time of law, when we were speaking about emotional discharge. That was the usual name. And catharsis has become, nowadays, if you pronounce this name, many people have fantasy of something very intense like this. It was the time the primal scream is an example of those cathartic approach of the time when I was trained and when I was doing my therapy. And catharsis has this, in the term, like a dramatic sounds or sense. And so that's why usually when people speak about catharsis, it means intensive emotional discharge. But when we look closely to the phenomenon, and I take the example of Angela Klopsteck article in the journal, when she had a good article, Catharsis and Self-Regulation Revisited, Scientific and Clinical Consideration. You see it's in the IIBA journal 2005. Well, it seems that catharsis is a new wording for emotional discharge. So it means the same. And it's defined by a change of state linked to an exteriorization of affect, therefore a discharge. So catharsis means discharge. Emotion, catharsis, intense or not, are involuntary psychocorporal mechanism by which excess of energy is expelled, discharged. So at the start, and even if this sense of intensivity and dramatic, it's still connected to catharsis, it means the same than emotional discharge. And as Angela Klopsteck reminds in her article, catharsis and emotional discharge are a mechanism of self-regulation, means it's for me the wisdom of the body, intelligence of the life in our body that tend to homeostasis. Homeostasis means that in every lifeful organism has the tendency to maintain the optimum level of energy and excitation. And when there is too much of energy, there is an automatic reflexive mechanism that discharge. So there are self-regulation mechanisms. So for me, it's the wisdom of the body. And this self-regulation is a self-healing power for me. So that's, for me, a major point. And it seems maybe known from some people, but in general, in the public and even by some therapeutic field, it's not always considered as such. But from my experience, personal experience as a client, as a therapist, and as a trainer, this is really what I found the most crucial. And this healing power of emotion, it's ancestral knowledge. We found it back in bioenergetic analysis, but it was known since many, many times. I just will mention two different culture, two different rituals and healing rituals that happen in the world, in some civilizations since I don't know how many years. So the Gnawa, this is practice in population in Sub-Sahara, which is today more in the Maghreb. And then the other one, I saw some movie about how they proceed and how they are around a person who is invited to some catharsis experience through music and drums. Usually it's with music. And then the Bushmen of South Africa, and they are practicing the shaking medicine practice. Also, they use the tremor, but not only the tremor. It's so that's one of the ancestral knowledge. Some practice that are done since so many years, but also the concept of catharsis is coming from Greece, from ancient Greek, and the name is coming from ancient Greek, catharsis, which means purification. So we are in the same field, like discharge, purification. So you see the wording in the Greek and the Greek tragedy. So the catharsis is related to the practice of theater, of Greek tragedy that has been a practice very, very usual. And what was, so since 5th century before Christ, so it's a very long time. And the catharsis is the effect of purification produced on the spectator by art or a dramatic representation. So the meaning of doing some theater, some tragedy was for a cathartic purpose from the spectator. So the fact of looking at the scenario, at the story, has a cathartic effect. So I think we are still We have not forget that because the success of movie or series and all that, and the fact of looking to scenario and story, I think they are related to the need of something like sometimes catharsis, but also some other meaning, of course. But so this is important to remind for me. Now we come to bioenergetic body-mind psychotherapy knowledge. I will be very, very seems reductive, but I will go to the major point for me that I want to transmit you on this evening. So emotion in our knowledge is incarnating the body-mind reality, the fact that we are not a body on one side and a mind on another one. In an emotion, we are really connecting, and body and mind are not separate. We are feeling, we have some representation, we have so first, this is very important. Oops, I'm going. And what Rach found the first, or observe and transmit, is an anatomical process of catharsis, and he named it the orgastic reflex. So I like to come back to this knowledge because I find it so interesting, because it's really true. And we have now, and I will show you some video about that anatomical process. This is a reflex, and it's the way this wisdom of the body is showing and processing emotion. So as Reich discovered, this orgastic reflex, sorry, who implies the whole body, we find it in a very tiny way in each breathing. If when our breathing is really free and deep, and deep enough, so to speak. I don't think we can really free everything, and they show in emotional discharge. I will come back. I will show you some two little movie, but or I do it right now. I'm not sure. Wait. I want to show you the movie now. Wait, it's better. So yeah. No, the other one. The other. Oh, wait. Okay, so it's okay. So it's at the beginning. So here I have a video with the permission of the person. It's many time ago. It's a theory session, and in the theory session, the reflex or tremor are spontaneous. It's also wisdom of the body. Really, it's a healing process also. It's part of, it's one expression of this wisdom of the body. And you will see here, the person was very stiff here since the beginning, and then when he put his leg there, the body, you see, is doing some movement there in the pelvic area. And it's not often that you can see really an orgastic reflex showing like in this video. So the movement are stronger. You see it's coming up. The head is a bit involved, not yet, but the upper body, so it goes to reptilian movement. So the person is smiling. It's a nice experience because it's really the life in the body going through all segments of the body. And mainly there is the origin of the wave is in the pelvic floor. And then you will see how it developed. One time, it's a bit short, you will see the orgastic reflex. Means a movement from at the same time in the pelvic floor to the neck and the head. Yeah, that's coming. The head is doing some movement here. Yeah, that's it. You see the head is going back. Yeah, second time. So it's a body is going to kind of contraction and then expansion. Yeah. Yeah, that's the end of the.
Seems like a total reaction.
That's it. So thank you. Before showing the second movie is a movie who is showing how the orgastic reflex and explain how it's working anatomically. Means that in the breathing involves the four diaphragm, the usual what we know as a diaphragm, the thoracic one. But osteopathy consider that we have at least four diaphragm. We have a cervical one at the neck, and then a cranial one at the top of the crown, and a pelvic one. So this little movie is showing the breathing and showing how the four diaphragm are pulsating together during the breathing, and you can see a minimalist orgastic reflex. Means, yeah, you see it's showing that we have 7 plexus. So you can
mobiliser les différents diaphragmes.
Okay, the breathing
diaphragme thoracique, mais aussi
is done and mobilization of 4 diaphragms that are stimulating several plexus. So you see the point that are the 7 plexus.
Qui apparaissent à l'écran.
The neurovegetative center. So you see the one at the head, cerebral four, it's kind of diaphragm. You see the little, here the cervical one, means the one at the, with the tongue, muscle, neck, and then you have the thoracic one, which it's a basket to separate abdomen and yeah, abdomen, and here you have the diaphragm of the pelvic floor. Here you see all the 4 diaphragms are working together, pulsating together.
Le diaphragme thoracique, vous voyez, c'est un muscle très intéressant, très important.
So here they show a little bit more about the thoracic diaphragm, how they
les intestins, le foie,
move,
le pancréas, la vessie, et ces viscères vont descendre à l'inspire et remonter à l'expire et vont stimuler
and how the pelvic floor, so the 4 diaphragm, the pelvic diaphragm is moving
de toute la colonne lombaire lors
like
de la respiration.
Raj described the orgastic reflex, mean at the in-breath it goes back and then forward.
Le
You
diaphragme
see
et la
it.
respiration
So it's a very thinny
viscères.
during the breathing, but it becomes very, very big when there is an emotional
lors de la
discharge.
respiration, les muscles dans le dos,
And here you
les
see the
muscles
movement
au
of the
niveau de la
head
gorge, au niveau de la mâchoire, au niveau de la nuque,
that accompany
les côtes se mobilisent,
all the movement.
elles s'écartent à l'inspiration, elles se rapprochent à l'expiration. Et pendant toute la respiration, les muscles abdominaux sont importants pour l'expiration forcée, mais aussi pour offrir une certaine résistance au diaphragme.
So, thank you. So I like to show this little movie. It shows what we know since And of course, when you see how it works, so the base of the discharge of emotion, this movement of the pelvis, on the head, and the whole pulsation of the body, the way to, so what we discover, what Reich discover is, why is it not, poop, poop, poop. Wait. Sorry, I have a little technical problem. I cannot. I don't know how to come back to the beginning. Sorry. Try with another. Here. Okay. So what Reich understood after that, the anatomical process of catharsis, the anatomical process of inhibition of this reflex, which also inhibits the breathing, the deep breathing, and inhibits emotion discharge. So this inhibition is done by chronic muscular tension, the armoring, blocking of emotion. We know nowadays that it's not only muscular, it's also including the fascia, which is new, but let's stay to the... So the restriction of the breathing, of course, the breathing motricity, so it's at the basis of emotional inhibition and of course also sexual inhibition. So that's how Reich could make some connection to those three inhibition. So some of so I come to Lowen's way of seeing the emotion, and not only as bidimensional like a body and mind reality, it's also a body, mind, and relational event. So it's add a new dimension also to the work in bioenergetic analysis, and it's integrate because we see that an emotion as a body, it's a body event, of course, sensation, movement, discharge, and all that. And then we have some representation, wording, and all that. And an emotion, it's a relational event. When somebody has an emotion, we feel connected to the emotion, we can feel it together, and also the presence of somebody is really connected to emotion. So this is not the point of my presentation, but it's important to name it. So I will take three major bioenergetic contributions, two from Alexander Lowen and one from Bob Lewis. The one, of course, is grounding. The second is the unbuttoned belly. And then from Bob Lewis, the cephalic shock. If you remember the movement of the pelvic floor and the head, there are the two termination of the movement of discharge of emotion. So they are both related, of course, but you can enter to the cephalic shock means muscular tension around the cervical diaphragm, which is very, very tense. And the unbuttoned belly, I will come back to that. So, oh, there is nothing. Yes, yes, I'm sorry, I'll go back. So I miss one slide about grounding. Grounding, which is a very major knowledge from bioenergetic analysis, which was already known in some other culture and practice, very ancient practice, and it's what we call to be connected energetically with the ground, which is giving security in our organism, like in houses, we need to have a grounding of the electricity in the ground. So in case of storm, when there is much energy in the air, there will not be an explosion. So there is in the grounding, so the connection to the heart has this kind of function. Now, I find it interesting to just notice that grounding doesn't mean to have strong legs, on the muscular point of view, but to have legs who are sensitive, many sensation and feeling in the legs, liveful legs, which is important. So I come to the unbuttoned belly, which is an expression of Lowen that I like very much. And to me, it's related to the orgastic reflex. I believe that any tension in the pelvic floor, in the abdomen, that is related to the inhibition of emotion, it's there to stop this orgastic reflex at the base, at the bottom. So I just give you some so that's another sense of grounding. Grounding is also letting go and lowering a center of gravity physically and emotionally, being connected in our belly, not only to the heart, but also in our inner floor, which is our pelvic floor and belly. In this sense, being grounded implies not living in one's head and the upper body, but being centered at the level of gravity, center of gravity in the lower part of the body, from the abdomen to the feet, being in one's hara, one's guts, the different wording, with one's belly unbuttoned. And this is, sorry, a last sentence. This is from Lowen. Letting go means allowing oneself to go down. For we unconsciously keep ourselves at a certain height. We are afraid of falling, afraid of degradation, and thus afraid of letting go and giving in to our emotion. I insist on this because I found that the inhibition of this letting go deep in the belly is needed for so many people. I want just to add some scientific modern knowledge around the belly and about emotion that are brought by Michael Gerson, don't know, but which has written The Second Brain, many of you knows that we have a second brain in our belly, and this is the man. Leave you read who is this? Who is him? And he enlightened that in our belly we have like an enteric nervous system, like a brain, similar to a brain. And in the intestine, and what he assessed in his book and his research, that the abdominal region is also associated with the function of emotional assimilation. So there are like a neuron in the enteric nervous system, and what is very, very spectacular, they have neurotransmitter as the main brain or brain in the head, and they produce 95% of the serotonin, which is a major important neurotransmitter, as we know, concerning emotion. So it means that when the belly is highly buttoned, it has an impact of this production, I guess, of serotonin. And of course, our emotional state. So according to Michael Gerson, this enteric brain will be capable of memory, means that it seems that he's holding emotional memory, and he will participate in the dreaming phase during sleep. So, our enteric brain in the abdomen shape our emotion, and in turn is affected by this emotion. Gifted with memory, or gut is another word for this part of us, holds the archive of our entire emotional life. So it's in French or in many languages, people speak about the guts as les tripes, we say in French. It's a knowledge of sensation, emotion. It's not intellectual. It's usually opposite as with the opposite at to the abstract knowledge or theoretical knowledge. Here it's a knowledge from feeling and emotion. So I find it interesting to put that in relation with the knowledge of the unbuttoned belly from Lowen. So I feel it's a good moment maybe for you to make a little experiment. Maybe I stop the, yeah. So I prepare a little experiment concerning this question of opening or unbuttoned the belly. And also it will rest you a little bit about all this wording and ID and stimulation. So it will not be very long, but you can make it by standing or sitting. Maybe sitting is more comfortable. And I will show you a little bit sometimes how first help some people to get into some opening of the breathing and the belly. So you are sitting comfortable with the feet flat on the floor. You can have a support in the back. It's as you like. What is important is to be comfortable. In the first moment, you close your eyes and you just observe your breathing. Don't try to change it or to make something or use a technique. It's only just being there and observe. Observe how your body is breathing. Is breathing you constantly. You just connect to those waves or to those movement, where it moves. No importance. You don't try to breathe well. Then feel the air coming in, out. Make some little movement of the head, just to sense more the head, and also the shoulders. You close the shoulders like I do and open, close a little bit. So you have some sensation in the back, like this, up and down, forward, backward. Okay. And now, when you exhale, you will do some movement is in your belly, down belly, a little bit the same like when you laugh or, yeah. So it means little movement like ha, 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 to activate the lower part of your belly. Make it, when you exhale, on the exhalation, 2-3 times, ha, ha, ha. Then let the inhalation come spontaneously. So let you do a little bit. Ha, ha, ha. You do that a few times and then you come back to observing your breathing. Something has changed maybe, which is nice. Maybe you feel it more. I don't know if you feel more the out breath or the in breath. Now, when you arrive, I tell you what you do and then you do, because you cannot be connected to your breathing and hearing my instruction. So when the instruction is, when your out breath is coming, you just go long time with the out breath until you cannot more. You do it 2 times. I do it also a little bit. Now, when you come back again to observe and connect your breathing, when the breathing is going spontaneously, like she is. I'll leave a little moment so you can connect inside yourself. And now that's the point where I want to lead you, is when the out breath will come, you will like follow this out breath, like sinking in the out breath, like, because the out breath is going a little bit down. If you let it be, I hope you feel it, maybe a little teeny movement of when the out breath is there, you sing with your body in the out breath. You must do it a few times. I use the wording and the image of sinking. Plonger in French, you go. Let your gravity go down, follow. And then maybe your body will accentuate few by few this movement of pulsation in the pelvic floor. Pulsation like a anatomic curving. Focus only of the out breath and sinking in. And then your body will do the rest. If you feel to do that, you can also sing into the out breath and exhale and put a maximum of air. So you lengthen the out breath. You make it longer, as if you want to really squeeze all the air, but from the bottom of the belly. Squeeze the air out. With a bit of force. No more than 3 times. After you have done this prolongation of the breathing and squeezing the air, you come back to you let come your breathing as it is, and you go back to the softly sinking in your abdomen, sinking in your pelvic area. Maybe when the in-breath is coming, you will have this little pulsative movement of your pelvic diaphragm. Okay. So I hope at least if you don't have done the experience, it has made a little break into your mind and body. looking at the screen and listening. So a little bit of rest is ever nice also for me. So I will go back to what I want to present, and I have some other about emotions, some other knowledge to just share shortly, but that I find important. We know today that we know since a long time about the limbic system. Whoop, 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 whoop. It doesn't move. I don't know why. Yeah, it's coming. So this is an image of the limbic system, which is in our brain, the structure that is in charge of emotion. Not only that, but also the alarm system when we feel danger. We have different structure in our limbic system. That's why we call it a system of different structure. It's in the middle of our brain, and it's under what the cortex, which is called like a high structure, and the limbic and the brainstem are the subcortical structure, means under the cortex. And my purpose is about the limbic and emotion, limbic system and emotion. Just to maybe have some scientific confirmation that emotions are so crucial in a human life and in our behavior and in our psychology. The limbic system, who is responsible for emotion, is mature much before the cortex structure. So its emotion is primary in terms of development of a newborn little baby. So one feel and one have experience before thinking. So we know that, but here we have some specific, maybe many people know about that. Sorry if I am too simplifying it, just to have some idea. So in terms of development, for example, the cortex structure starts its maturation around 12 months, when the limbic system is yet mature. And the final maturation of the specific part of the cortex, which is very important in terms of representation and capacity of reflexive capacity, are mature at 2.5 years. So it means that until then, children are mainly under the power, so to speak, of emotion and limbic system. And they influence the emotion or brain system that control behavior, and not the contrary. So we know that now since a time that it's not because we are thinking that we are feeling first and then thinking later. So activity of young children is dominated by the sensory motor system and emotional system, which means that child development follow a bottom-up process. That is to say, from the body to the psyche. So the second important scientific information we have is that the limbic system developed and is shaped by the print of emotional experience. So the form is had and it starts from the experience that start in utero and until 2-3 years, which means the period of the life when a human being is very close to life and death threat, so where he is totally dependent of another human being, totally vulnerable, and have some major need of safety to reduce anxiety, strong fears. So this is, so first is shaped by those experiences until 2-3 years, and after that, until 8 year puberty, there he will have some more shaping by emotion that are related to critical moment. We know in bioenergetic we have, and in our developmental psychology, that we have human being is going through critical moment where experience are more intense, and to experience of anxiety also, and experience of intense emotional activation, crisis moment, and trauma. So also when in the adult life there are so intensive activation and trauma, it can still have an impact on the shape of limbic system. So now in this second part of my presentation, I like to share, in fact, how my experience as a bioenergetic therapist still, I'm still thinking and have the experience that catharsis and emotional discharge is a healing process also for traumatic experience. But of course, when we have a story with a trauma, emotion is a challenge because it can become a danger for the system when the nervous system is in a red light danger state. Emotion, who are lifeful movement in the body, when a body needs to sedate and to immobilize totally in order to survive, emotions are perceived as a danger. So this is the challenge when we envisage catharsis and trauma. And so I will share. It's an experience I call catharsis and relationship in many of my workshops and training. And I share how we as bioenergetic therapists can help the catharsis that is potentially possible for traumatized people. And I've developed some way to do it. So, and this is a controversial issue. Maybe you know that for some practitioners that are not bioenergetic therapists, they think that emotion, when there is a traumatic experience, have to be totally avoided. Of course, they have to be handled differently than when there is no trauma. That is for sure. But my feeling is that I hope we don't throw the baby with the water, means a bad use of emotional discharge in a situation when there is trauma. So catharsis and relationship is my the name of what I've developed to present in a way how in bioenergetic analysis we can deal with trauma. I don't pretend it could be a general way, but this is my way I want to share. And I like to transmit this. So I'm still thinking, convinced that catharsis is part of the body's self-healing power. It is a natural treatment of life shock and scarring emotional wound. Our body has the means to treat all wounds, even the most terrible one, and he knows how to do it. Our body knows how to handle emotion. We assist him, but we don't have to explain our patient to make a emotional discharge. The body is doing it, but he needs some assistance. So, but he will only do so on one condition: safety. So, as I told in the beginning, the body is the therapist. He knows how to process emotion, and we assist him. And giving safety is on 2 levels. So, I cannot see it. So, finding safety on the body maneuver. I just recall some of known maneuver that can reduce unsafety feeling that is in the body. It's a physiological reality, safety and unsafety. So body sensation, we know that when we are in a high dysregulate level means our state of being is dominated by a very big fear and unsafety. We lose body sensation. We feel less and less because of the sedation, which is an immobilization. So we lose the sensation of the body. So coming back to the body sensation, the self sense means it's close to body sensation, but it's level of body sensation that is deeper. So ventral breathing, of course, it's going against the unsafety in the body, because it's like giving the sense when the breathing is starting again, it can be a signal that there is more safety. Grounding, as I told before, of course. The holding means that's more when give a hand or something, it's more relational, the holding. And reducing the cephalic shock, of course, is also a body maneuver we learn to do in bioenergetic analysis. Now, there is the relational safety. And relational safety needs some, I try to name different level of how this happening with my patient, to have just to share and to have I've looked more closely to some work. So the therapist body is major importance. Because when we go in emotion, limbic system and feeling of danger related to the brainstem and limbic system, they don't understand word. They need to have a non-verbal connection, a limbic to limbic relationship. So, and I differentiate that therapist body need to have a energetic availability, means that our energy can be available for holding, for giving some anchoring. Therapist has a safety in physical proximity. Sometimes with some patient that have been gone through some too painful, they need to have like a body-to-body proximity to be two body to contain the level of pain that is in the body. So security in engaging is her body. So I've developed different way. It happens spontaneous in session, and you know, the back-to-back position, which is very, very useful, but also other kind of engagement in the body. So it means that we offer our body as a second container to expand containing that needs for some emotional. And then we need a therapist-specific presence and emotional availability. Emotional availability for traumatic experience means that you can tolerate to feel somehow some of the feeling the person is going through without taking it on you, of course. And this emotional availability is different for every therapist, and for my own experience, it has developed during years. It was not done at the first time when I was a therapist. It has developed really. It's everything here in this slide developed few by few, and sometimes we must be cautious that maybe we are not available for some emotional or some kind of traumatic experience. So we must know our limits also and not go. So I call that a limbic to limbic connection, which is deep. So, and the presence of the therapist means he can even being moved and feeling some of the client experience, of course, giving this security on all level when it's possible, make it possible to accompany emotionally, but not being really personally involved. So we need to have increasing grounding, and we offer us as a supplementary energetic structure. I found out that in some session with some patients who are highly traumatized, that there is an energetic level from my own organism that is activated, because I think the feeling of danger we know that in the life when there is somebody to rescue, people who rescue usually have a specific force that they don't have in normal time, and it's involuntary and it goes beyond our volunteer. So I miss a slide. Sorry. Oh, I miss a slide, but okay. Try to cover. So I like to mention, here I was on the therapeutic level, that relational safety is also a collective story. And psychotherapy in dual relationship is a very, very new practice in healing trauma, I guess, or healing emotion, intense emotion. And I believe in some culture, they had some collective way of dealing with emotion. And the collective side of emotion, shared emotion, we have still some cultural practice, like coming together for funeral. When somebody is dead, we come together to share sadness and to be together. And the power of a group, of a collective, is very, very strong regarding trauma. When in the Guana Nawa rituals, or the Bushmen that I mentioned at the beginning of my speech, they are always practicing collectively. There is a person with having some emotional stress and release, and there is always 1, 2, 3 persons around the person, and then the group music also. And my feeling is that we lost in our culture those practice and those knowledge, and then emotion in the daily life and in the public and in are really not well seen, and usually are badly understood, and quickly, when somebody has a strong emotion, seen as something dangerous or even crazy. Nowadays, even in the TRE method that I practice, this practice to reduce the level, the impact and the print of traumatic or stress experience in the body. First, it was done in villages, in a collective setting and surrounding. But when this practice came in Europe and in Occidental world, it becomes more one-to-one practice. But some people are really, really working to rebuild collective round and place where we can assist each other. And I hope that one day there will be some more usual practice when they're to treat collectively the trauma and all kind of emotion that needs to be accompanied. So to illustrate this part of my topic, I like to show you the third video. So it's a story. It's a documentary that has been filmed a year ago, and it's a story of Mamadi Keita, which is a Senegalese person, and he come back to his village after 30 years of absence. So he come back to his village, and you will see how this intensive emotional moment is really collectively surrounded, and seems natural that expression can be very strong, but there are really like include and embrace by family and the village around them. So we can
Après la traversée du fleuve Bafi, mon village se rapproche. Je ne sais plus comment est Balandougou aujourd'hui. J'ai envie de revoir là où je suis né et la place où je jouais avec mon petit djembé. Ma mère, mon père sont morts. Aujourd'hui, je vais voir mes frères, ma soeur et tous mes amis du village.
I don't know if the sound is loud enough. I don't hear it well, but I hope you hear it. Okay, I suppose you could hear and see how the expression, even like going on the floor because it's too, and then it looks normal and everybody's around, and so let's dream that one day we can have this kind of opening and openness, and but it means that we need to have a better collective knowledge and safety around emotion in our world, which is not the case really, and except in some therapeutic moment and some community, of course. Yeah, I'm still moved when I see that, and this is really important. Well, still not. So here I want to share you about what it means when we go when we are accompanying traumatized people and what kind of reality are underlying on the emotional level. I found the description quite dramatic, but even if it's not ever so hard, it's often partly one of the other. So, for those of us who have lived life in head, this is a long, difficult, and agonizing process, because in attempting to release our muscles, we also release the pent-up fear and rage and grief that has been buried there, probably since or before birth. So it's about reconnecting with the body. Within ourselves, we find a stricken animal, almost dead from starvation or mistreatment. Because it has been punished for long, it acts at first like a wild, neurotic creature that hasn't no love. Gradually, it becomes our friends, and because our body understands the instinct better than we, it becomes our guide to a natural, spiritual way of life. This is written by this woman, and the picture is from this artist. So, I arrive at the end of this my presentation. Of course, I'm still there for questions and for I hope we will have some not discussion really, but answer to question. I like to offer this sentence. So to me, to break many people, when they have emotion going through, we call that a breaking through. People feel like they will break in pieces or breaking in, yeah. And here I wish you, it's not from me, this sentence, but I like it so much. Break often, not like porcelain, but like wave. Means like emotion, it's life. And looks like break, but it's like a renewal, and the energy will go back and we stay alive. So that's it. Maybe we have some question, Louise. Maybe you have some question, Louise. It's nice to have you close.
Well, some of the people are asking questions. Okay. Let's say first, let's see, Eloisa. There's a long question. She says, sorry for my bad English. I'm Eloisa from Milan. Catharsis in the trauma could be like self-healing power, similar to the defense processes in Freud. And she says,
say it again, I don't hear well.
Okay. She says, do you hear me better now?
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
Okay. She says, catharsis in the trauma could be like self-healing power, similar to the defense processes in Freud. And she says, for example, projection or denial from a trauma. She says, I know they are very opposite processes, but perhaps mind and body seek to protect themselves depending for the coping mechanism. I think that Freud identified catharsis in sublimation, in expression like art, music, painting, or other disciplines. So she seems to be asking whether it's a process. Catharsis is a process similar to the defense processes in Freud. So I'm not sure exactly what she's asking.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know about the fact that, of course, I'm now all my topic is about the emotional catharsis, which is a strong bodily experience, body-mind experience. Of course, there are other way of having part of some catharsis means some exteriorization of an emotion, and for example, speaking. So Freud discovered that speaking was helpful to discharge. So expressing in art and in, yeah, it's also a way to express mean discharge in a way, or put an energy in singing or expressing all kind of expression. Of course, it's also, those are cathartic when they are related to vegetative sensation. That's the point that Angela Klopstock described, and that all research that are showing that in all therapeutic method, when there is no vegetative reaction in the therapeutic moment, you have no change. So the change is coming from the vegetative experience you can have by naming, speaking, or expressing, or like the Greek are doing, like going to a spectacle, like going to a theater. It's also when you are moved by the story from another, it's a cathartic experience for your own emotion through looking at the emotion. So you have different way. I don't mean here, I mean, of course, as a body-oriented psychotherapist, that my conviction is that this is the most profound way to deliver our organism, the life in our body, to recover really many possibilities, but it's not ever possible. As we know, in traumatic experience, it can be re-traumatizing to go in emotion at that level, because the body-mind recall that it's dangerous to get such emotion. Or when you are alone, when you are a village around you, maybe you will let go, or somebody. But also, if you find other way, like many traumatized people have an artistic way to heal, so, and to hold and preserve some life in their body. That's so. What about Freud, and when he seems at a point, if I understand well, that this kind of emotional discharge you have seen in the movie, he has a kind of idea that is not the right way to do, that the good way is the sublimation, and that to find kind of more civilized or sophisticated way. That's a point of view of Freud. So I don't go in that controversy. So
yeah,
it's not defensive to
and
me.
the
Not.
cultures are very different.
But you
Freud's
can also, some people can be stuck in those intensive emotional expression. People are repeating because they are kind of middle in the middle of something is missing, and then not to be stuck in the, but okay, then we go into some more sophisticated clinical question. Okay.
Okay. I have another question here.
I don't
by-
hear again.
I have another
Yes.
question here by another participant, Maria Cristina. She asked, with bulimic and anorexic patients, where the perception of the body is distorted, where should one begin in bioenergetic analysis?
Oula. Yeah, I believe that the loss of the felt sense of the body. So in bioenergetic analysis, we have different body mobilization, and one very important and large is the self-perception, body sensation, going back to. So I will first go in that direction. So we have a lot of, but maybe we have to see the story of each person, and then also there must be a relational entry also. That's okay.
Okay, I have another question here from Catherine. What do you think about the notoriety or disrepute that cathartic process in bioenergetics has nowadays? How do you recommend to face this as bioenergetic analysis community?
Well, that was my major issue. That's why I'm presenting this, because during the year I have been through, when I discovered about trauma, I had some patients also in training where going into more bodily, like letting go, it was not really helpful. And then I had some colleagues in the faculty who were advanced in knowing about trauma and emotion and the question of catharsis. Then I also become a bit afraid, and I was thinking, so more focusing on the relational side, so to give safety on the relational, and then also I learned about the titration. This is the way it's recommended to include emotion in trauma therapy. So means when there is a danger of re-traumatization, the relational, so that's what I explained, the specific presence. So I developed that to help to assist deeply the body, but you have also the titration, mean you have to have technique when the emotion comes out and can go through too much, to have tools to come back to safety. And so few by few, like a bottle who has too much gas in, and it was, shaken. When you open you open a little bit and then you close. Means you have to have technique, and in theory we have a lot of technique, but also in bioenergetic. But that I like to develop an article around that technique to make the titration and to stop when it's necessary. And the fact that a person can stop this emotional going too far, it brings a deeper sense of physiological safety in the body. So, but those techniques are not now everywhere. So if you don't have it, so you better be very cautious. So titration or expressing slowly, we know that from Peter Levine, that when you express anger, for example, when you go quick, you are more close to go to the trauma. When you make the movement slowly, you reduce the risk and you work in more safety. So that's all. But I cannot present that on a webinar. It's a training matter.
Yes, it's the whole technique of helping the person go into the emotion with small doses at a time.
I developed a way to work with the fear, using the falling exercise to help the people to go into the moment where they feel the fear and then they come back. It's not, I don't use it to go to the fall, but to make this titration of anxiety, going in and back, and then I give some support. I find with the person if I have to hold the head or to give a hand so that the person can have more safety and go a bit more and then back. So that's
good.
I'm passionate. That's
yes, yes. Oh, we can see that. Now I have another question by Joaquin Martin. He says, I wonder if the catharsis we experience in bioenergetic practice as a process of self-healing through emotional release and the insights that often come with it has things in common with the catharsis we undergo during a psychedelic experience. Don't you think there are many similarities? I'm not finished yet.
Yeah.
Do you think from a therapeutic relational point of view, they could be approached in a similar way, that is, through the safety provided by the therapeutic bond?
Well, that's also something new that we are informed now. I know about those methods where you can use substance, psychedelic, or you have also the ketamine and all the different new products, ayahuasca and all that are sometimes used in some country officially, and in Belgium it's an experimentation, and some of them are indeed breaking through like emotion experience, like we have in psychotherapy. So even if they are close, I know few people who have done ayahuasca rituals, and it helps them for many reasons. So the substance itself has an effect, but the fact that when you do a ayahuasca ritual, you are throwing, people sometimes are throwing, and throwing is really orgasmic reflex. This is so it means that there are...
You mean vomiting,
vomiting, yeah, vomiting, sorry, it's not throwing, vomiting. Vomiting. It's the orgasmic reflex who is producing the vomiting.
It's throwing up also.
Throwing up, sorry. Yeah, that's it. So only for the physical, anatomical point of view, body point of view, to do ayahuasca ritual can open to emotion and can open to some release and some that, but plus the substance. So personally, I like to work without substance, but maybe for some people it can help. It can help if it's well contained and with very professional people. I believe it can help people when the body is too, I don't know, too inhibited, and that psychotherapeutic is not working. You know that some substance are arriving to some result in very severe depression, resistant depression, and all those cases that are not quite people that will not come to bioenergetic therapy. But there are, of course, similarity, because they produce some of those reflex of the body that are mean to self-regulation. That's well, that's my opinion at this moment.
Okay, now there are a couple of comments that are not questions, but Eloisia, who asked a question earlier, says, "Thank you, teacher. I understand now. The body is involved in the change." So,
yeah, that's nice. I like that.
and then there is another comment from Salvatore that says there are already studies on the consequences of emotional communication that use only digital medium. So I don't know, perhaps it.
I don't know. I'm interested to know.
Okay.
If we can have that, if we can have the reference.
Uh-huh. And Maria Cristina also has a comment on the exercise you proposed. She
Yeah.
said, after the first exercise of focusing on the exhalation, I felt the depth followed by the curve I perceived in the pelvic floor.
Yeah.
Truly a sinking sensation into the abdomen.
Yeah, that's my pleasure.
And then Diana is asking, is it possible to contact Violaine for supervision or session online?
No, sorry. Online, I have a...
Or she adds, or maybe a workshop or techniques.
Well, I do workshop I call Catharsis and Relationship, where I transmit the way, some way I use, and but I do it in a workshop manner. I will not, and online it's difficult when it's so bodily also. It's difficult to replace that, and since I have many activity professional, I don't open the door to online only with some person I'm involved, but yeah.
Yeah, of course, I understand.
Okay.
Another comment. Hello, this is from Osteo 10A Live. Now that's the address, the address of the person. Yes. Hello, congratulations. In osteopathy, a lot of importance is given to the diaphragm, both on the structural and somato-emotional side, working on the hemicupola. I think that's the diaphragm. Often, after a few minutes of treatment, you see the patient taking a deep breath. From then on, everything changes. Do you treat it directly or do you work on it through words? Thanks. That's a question at the end.
Well, word and body experience are always combined, of course. I give place to some body experience, and I asked the person to name what the person is experiencing, and after, of course, it's a coming together of limbic system and cortex, so we integrate of course, but some moments are nonverbal, very nonverbal, but body to body, limbic system to limbic system, and then after the wording to integrate is really important. So
And there is another question that has just come from Pietro. He's asking, before treating the body, is it a good idea to do a bend over, a grounding position?
I use it. And also I discover a new way to use it as a vagal break. Means a body maneuver to reduce, we know about the polyvagal theory that we need to strengthen our vagal ventral, and vagal break are body maneuver, there is a breathing exercise. I don't remember the name, but I use the bend over as a vagal break also. I can explain that, but I have a project to transmit by writing.
Okay, then there is another another comment from again from Maria Cristina, who says, as therapists, we too must truly know our bodies. In Italy, psychologists study the mind extensively, but do little work on the body. I have undergone autogenic training, but for example, this evening, I experienced a deeper breathing, and she adds, there is so much to learn.
Thank you to mention the body of the therapist. That's why body means lifeful body, not the incarnate, the self, the body self. That's why in our bioenergetic training, we first do extended experiential first before the clinical phase of the training. So our trainees first go through some experiences to develop in themselves this deep connection and going through. This is the basics. So you cannot accompany and have those kind of relation on the energetic point of view, psychic point of view, emotional point of view, without having that deep connection in you. This is in theory, we know in bioenergetic analysis, the body of the therapist. This is really different in our training and in our way to work. So that's thanks for this last word, if it could be, because it's so important. It's our ADN to me in bioenergetic analysis. It's the way we do train, not that's very different. And we need that kind of therapist. I feel that we need people that are really in those areas for themselves so they can be available.
So, well, there are a couple of comments, but they are in Italian and I cannot translate.
Okay.
But there's only, anyway, 1 minute left. So anything you would like to ask to conclude?
That ask?
No, anything you would like not to ask, to say. To
To
conclude.
say. Well,
sorry, my neurons. yours should be tired, not mine.
No, what has been said right now that I feel more relaxed, that I feel more like I am in the training, I feel really happy to have done this webinar and just to share my experience. And I prefer when we are face to face, I can answer questions and see the people, but I like also that IIBA organize those way to expand the knowledge that we have. Yeah, so I'm happy that people could get some of what I've shared.
I think there are several thankful comments.
Yeah, I see.
And
nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Louise.
Well, I really appreciated your presentation myself. So thank you, Violaine.
Thank you, Louise. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.